Whoops, wrong one. Japers, we meant to have that one there to do a fancy intro, but it's not working, so I'm going to get out of that. Get it. Oh, here we go. We got it. Let's just see. It's not going to play, though, because it's not on here, so forget about that. We will come back to me. Okay, a bit late for the tracker this morning because we had the offer of a live with Adam, which we just did. It's below this, so good to chat with Adam. He put a post up and I just put a comment on it saying, it'd be good to chat sometime, and he nailed the spot, came back within about 5 minutes. So that was the deal there. And what I'm going to do before we go straight into the tracker, just talk about this. This is a picture of John Guzzwell, obviously quite some time after he finished his trip around the world. And that's showing the course that he took. And if those that have read the story will know he went down to Hawaii, met up with some friends there, the Smeatons and so on. And then they were going to different places. And John was keen to get to New Zealand. So he actually went to Vava'u. Okay, and then from Vava'u went down to New Zealand, across to Australia, up through the Barrier Reef to Torres Strait and around from there. So that's just showing his course map. A bit hard to see, but that's basically what happened. So whereas the fleet now is headed to Tonga, and we've got the primary destination, or what works really well, is to go into Pangai, which is the middle group, the Hapai group of the Tongan group of islands, which runs sort of north-south. So you've got the top group up, where Vava'u is, and then you've got the Hapai group in the middle, and then you've got Tonga Tapu, which is Nucalofa, the capital city of Tonga, down south. And there are 3 entry ports. I'm going to talk a bit about the course here, but they can go to any of those 3 ports. So they could land in Vava'u and do the customs there, but it's a bit of a challenge to get in. I'll show you that on the tracker when we come to it. Or they could go to Pangai in the middle, Hapai group, which is the best for a stopover because it's like paradise. I got to tell you, the Hapai group is quintessential Pacific Island paradise. The anchorages, the coral, the whales, the people, the islands are just unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable, and that's one of our favourite playgrounds, I suppose. Before they head on to Fiji. Anyway, so we'll now come across to the tracker, but before I go there, this is actually our Mini Globe Race website, and I'm going to go across to that now. You may not have seen this, but if you click on the race, I don't know whether I've got a box opened up there. I don't know whether you're seeing that box, but it says underneath that, it says the race, the beginning, and then John Guzzwell. Okay, and that's the page. So you can come back here and you can go the race. It talks about all sorts of little things. Hang on, I'm on John Guzzwell again there. Here we go. If I click back on this, okay, there's the race. Okay, so it talks all about the various races, MGR, the Transat, and so on. Okay, so that's that one there. But just remember this, a lot of people might not have seen this. It's a great summary of the John Guzzwell story. This is how it opens up. And it's the small boat that cast a long shadow. And it's not a huge read like our weekly summaries from Graham, but it's a really good read. And it talks all about John and where it came from. And, that'll keep you busy for, 20 minutes, half an hour. Got some great photos in there, all the different things that are happening. So if you want to know the John Guzzwell story without reading the book, if you don't have a copy of the book, then that's where you go. All right, and so enjoy that. And now we're going to go across to the live tracker. So I'll pull that up. The website, you can, on the Class Globe 580 website and on the Mini Globe Race website, you could spend 4 hours having a real ball, just trying to get used to and informed about what the whole idea is and where the concept came from and so on. So anyway, here's the tracker, and I'll pick this up. Not a lot to talk about for John and Popeye. I haven't seen John come up with his suggestion, but they're both in at the anchorage where everyone went to. They will have cleared customs by now, kicking back, relaxing, enjoying the lush green and all the rest of it, while our guys now are boring along to Tonga and making good progress. So Josh is underway. He's down the back here. Gary would be absorbing the Papiete lifestyle, and I know he's keen to get back into the fleet. So he's the only one we have given special exemption to now. He will be able to sail past Tonga. He doesn't have to stop for the 8 days. It gives him a chance to catch up. Josh, on the other hand, he's still got to do it, but he's cruising and racing and doing his own thing in terms of Tonga. It's a nice stopover. He'll enjoy that. And then when he gets to Fiji, he'll see his happy partner manager as well. So a lot of families and people flying into Tonga, which is good to see. I'll put the wind on here now. Adam already referred to it. If you haven't seen Adam's live we just did, it's cool. Cheap as he's looking fit. I need to be there. Anyway, so there's the weather, and it's all moving along quite nicely. Overall, everyone's got pretty nice sailing. Kerry's lucked out a bit by being south, but he's trying to get back up north a bit now, and everyone should be on the right format for reporting. 8 o'clock, yes. So Josh doing 4.4, an 84-mile day. He might not be out for 24 hours yet. He's probably just under 24 hours, so that's explaining that. He's got a bit of ground to catch up. He's from Jasmine, next one in. He's 280 miles from Jasmine, so 2.5 days behind Jasmine. But they'll all still be in port, but in Tonga when he gets there, so that's cool. Jasmine, 4.4 and 95-mile day. I shared her post. I don't know whether you read it. She got banged around a bit, but still having a good time and pushing herself above and below that flat line of mediocrity, which makes for a full life. Very impressive, and it was fun talking to Adam because, yeah, Adam, the biggest seas he's seen for the entire trip was when they left Portugal, when they left Marina de Lagos in Portugal, and Jasmine was right there with him. So it was a big grounding for her. I'll never forget it. They would have shaken her up a bit. In fact, I've got to talk about that when we do an interview in Fiji. Ertan doing 4.5 knots, 103-mile day. Sticking to the magic 100-mile a day, which is good. There's Adam, 4.4, 107-mile day. And a nice little group of boats all lying abreast just about. Jacob, 4.5, 110-mile day. And Eric doing 4.6, 105-mile day, which is all good. And they're all, you saw what conditions Adam had. So he's, all these guys right here will be getting the same beautiful sailing conditions. Missed some of the squalls that the leaders got, the front runners were getting. Christian's come down where Kerry's heading back up. Christian's doing 4 knots, 101-mile day. And Canadan, 4 knots and 99-mile day, but still hanging on to his lead group. Christian's working hard to try and get up to that lead pack. He's not there yet. You've got to be closer to the lead group than you are to the mid group. So this is the mid pack here. And then you've got your lead pack, which includes Canadan. And then you've got the tail enders down the back, which is Josh and Gary for now. So Christian's trying hard, but we'll keep measuring that at the moment. We would measure the distance between Eric and Canadan. And then by the time he passes the midway point, if he gets clearly further up to the front there, then we could class him up there. And he's trying. So we've gone through Dan. Kerry, I'll just make this a bit bigger because you're on your phone. So sorry about that. Kerry is now, he's been heading northwest, doing 2.9 knots. That's the reason why. And in fact, I would have thought he'd be doing more than that at the moment in what's showing on the graphic. But that graphic must be wrong. He's only done 53 miles in the last 24 hours. That's a big lose. Oh, hang on, the time. Yeah, he's still on 8 o'clock as well. That's interesting. He was on 8, so there might be a story there. That's very unusual. I wouldn't have thought the weather was like that, but it must have been. Kerry might see this. Just give us a comment if you see this, Kerry. We'd like to know if you had an issue or did you oversleep or what's going on. But 53-mile day. First impression is the boat's good, you're good, and it's just no wind. But the graphic's showing as if there might have been a bit more wind there than that. So let's wait and see. Peeler, oh no, yeah, there you go, 3.9 knots, 82-mile day. So there might be a big hole here, and that's causing them to go slow. So Peeler's lost out a bit, 82, but it's still a lot better than Kerry, 53, but also part of Kerry's. If you look at Peeler's snail trail there, can't quite see her, she's blue, but it's pretty straight, just going to the west, and that's where the run line goes, here to the west. Whereas Kerry took a diversion up to the northwest, which is, whilst you're going boat speed through the water, you're not making progress towards the finish, and that may be where he's lost out, but it still seems a lot. So it could be a combination of everything, but not a good result. Peeler is clearly right now in front of Kerry, so Kerry's fallen back. And Holiday Dan, 5.1, 83 nautical miles is reasonable. But here it comes, 78 mile day. Oh, Holiday Dan has taken out 5 miles on Renaud. So slowly but surely, and Renaud's doing 5.1 knots at the moment and got 78 miles in the day, so he slowed down. There wasn't a lot of wind, but he's doing the same speed as Dan, Holiday Dan, so that's good for him. All right, so that's a bit of an overview there. I'm going to just make this a bit bigger so we can see what's going on with the weather. Still patches of bits, and as I've always said, when you get this stuff, the graphic may not be correct. It's a lot of bland bits and pieces here. Total confusion, so Kerry may well have fallen in the hole. Same with Peeler, a little bit slower, so and there's a fair bit of instability up the top here as well at the moment. So let's just roll it through for the next 48 hours. I'm tempted to go one bigger because it's not one smaller, rather. It's easy to see what's going on. But they're so close to the finish. Renaud's holding up high. We did have a conversation about Vava'u, which is the north group. I'll look at that a bit bigger in a minute. And he's probably headed for Vava'u. I'm not sure where everyone else goes, but there's serious challenges going into Vava'u. You've got about 5 miles of stuff that you might have to motor. It's a long way in. If you're not motoring, you'll be certainly probably tacking to windward normally, and that can delay the approach. So, but once you're there, you can then sail down to any of the other three and leave from other two, and leave from one of those to depart for Fiji. So let's wait and see. But there's certainly not a lot of breeze down here, so I understand why they are holding high. Okay, we'll push the weather through now and see if there's any big changes. No, the light winds are holding on to the rum line. So there goes the first day, coming up to the first day. That's the 30th now. It's pretty solid then. So, okay, the 31st. So it's just over in there. So there on the 28th, 29, 30, 31. 3 days or 2.5 days. Let's see how far they got to go. So they got 360 miles, and they might only be making 100 and a bit mile days. So it's about 3 days from now, okay, for Renaud, and that's the sort of weather that we're looking at in about. I'll click that on a little bit further. In about 3 days, that's what they've got, all the way into Tonga. So, yeah, not going to be a fast run, but about 3 days from now would be the ETA for Renaud. There's still a breeze there for Dan. He's now 140 miles behind. So that's 4 days for Dan. And then Peeler is 100 miles behind. It's probably 5 days for Peeler. So 5 days from now, that's the 3rd. So still getting about the 3rd. And Kerry will be slightly behind that. And so it goes down the line. So 3 days. Here comes Tonga in Vava'u. We'll wait and see where the others are headed to. Is that it? Yeah, so what I'm going to do now is just talk about a couple of things before we get off of this. I think I've covered everything. Yep, we have. I'm going to bring you over just to explain Pangai again, just so you know what the finish line is. I'll explain Pangai and then I'll show you the actual other one. I'm just going to check that we're still transmitting here. Yep, we are, except we've got a bloody question dropped in there.
Just come off that.
You can't?
Yes, you can.
Okay, well, Jane's going to turn this off today when it's finished. Well, if you can't, how can I?
Because you can do it on there.
Yeah, well, we'll come and do it now. Come and do it now. I don't know. Anyway, I've tried, but it says remove it, but it's always stuck there, and I can't get to that. So we're still on here. If I come back to the tracker now, I'm going to pull that up to here. And then when I find the place, okay, here comes Tonga. And, yep, other way. So the final approach onto Pangai, which is Lifu Island, okay, you just come across the top. It's a clear area on the north of it, very clear approach. You could actually come from the south in between the little gap under the islands there. And then it's pretty open water inside the lagoon here. There's no real bommies to speak of all the way across the top. And then as you do your final approach, there is a shipping lane there. They have the local large ferry, which is like a small ship that comes in. There's the airstrip there. So the planes come in here. They won't go over the reef. They'll come around the reef here. They enter into the local lagoon, and then they keep coming. And this is the gate, this line here. So as soon as they cross that line, they're actually in. That's where they finish their timeline. They don't have to anchor for the finish of that leg. That's where the clock starts, right there. So it's a very simple approach. And then the port, there is a little port here. They can anchor out and come in on their tender, whatever, but they can actually come into this ferry terminal area. There's a jetty there, or they can come in and then they anchor just here, or they can put stern to the wall here, and customs and so on is just down here very close. So that's the Pangai situation, and these islands around here are just fantastic. The anchorage up the top here is great, beautiful sandy anchorages. Same down the bottom down here. Those two, there's stuff really close in, so not too bad at all. And then when they leave, I've mentioned this, talk about Tafua, there's the active volcano. This is the inactive part, if you can see that. And this is the site of Mutiny on the Bounty. And so that's the old caldera, the crater that used to be popping away. Now there's a big freshwater lake in the middle, pure jungle. It's like Jurassic Park. It's unbelievable. And there is a vent there which is bubbling away. It's got a lava lake in it. If you make your way up to it and look down over the edge, it's mind-blowing. It's really fantastic. And this is Kea, which looks like a volcano. It's a perfectly vertical volcano, but it's an extinct one. It's not active, but this is where the action is. So the boats will sail right past this, and they'll see the smoke puffing away and maybe hear it. It rumbles every now and then, but it is currently active. The whole of Tonga is quite active at the moment, so that's another story. So that's Pangai. Now I'll show you Vava'u. I'll show you the challenges there, and Niafu. It's at the top end. So this is the top end of the island group, and this is where John Guzzwell came. He came into Vava'u, so there's a historical component to that. And you'll see here, you've got to actually come in around the edge here, right? Super deep water, you can't anchor. And then when you get in here, you also see wind shadows and challenges about 4 miles. You've got to come 4 miles up here. You can sail it if you're lucky. If it's easterly or southeasterly is okay. It moves around, but you've then got to come up, and there's a gap here, which you're unlikely to sail through. These are very high hills and mountains around it. Here's the gap coming in. If you come up here, you've got to come through this gap, and the anchorage is just over the side here, and that's where customs is. You can't anchor in the middle of the harbour because it's too deep. It's like super deep. So the only places to anchor is to come over here. Some people tie up to the wharf here, customs building right on the corner, and you'll see a lot of moorings around, but these are the shelves where you can anchor, but not a lot of swinging room because there's lots of moorings in there, and you've got to pick up a mooring and pay for it. But the only other place to anchor is on the other side of the harbour, on the other side, but for the 580s, it's a long way across this harbour on a stand-up paddleboard, but that's possible too. So that's the top end of the anchorage options in Vava'u. There's now 39 whale swimming boats in there, 25 licenses, 39 whale swim boats in here, which is just crazy. I love Tonga and all the rest of it. The last time we were there was like 25 boats. Now there's 39. It's just way too many. Very sad for the whales. But anyway, that's life. Tongans know what they're doing. But the whale experience here is beautiful. The season's just about to start. And this is Tonga Tapu, the island of Tonga Tapu, the capital of Tonga. Nucalofa, there's the capital there. There's a couple of ways in. You can come down here and sail in, come down. There's a little gap there. You come around and you're in. Believe it or not, all the square riggers like Astrolabe and Cook and all the rest of it, they sailed their boats down this thing here, which is just phenomenal. I'll just show you the port and the anchorage, because I think Kerry said he's coming into Nucalofa. He's got some connections there that he's with, so this is where you sail in from the ocean and tack up here. Imagine bringing a square rigger in there. Come around here, that's the island of Pangai. All the cruising boats hang out there. It's the best anchorage, but they use their tenders to come across to the city over here. And there is a little fishing, little harbour, inner harbour, and there's a ferry harbour and so on. So that's Nucalofa. Anyway, enough of that. But so now you've got a feel for what's going on there. I'm going to come back to me here, and we will get rid of that. So there we go. Yes. Now a couple of other things on the future tracks. I've just advised, we've sort of made some decisions how we're going to handle Darwin and a few others. When they come to Fiji, we do all the sailing instructions and so on, and then the next leg is a huge one. So the changes or final decisions on here comes Ertan. Jeepers, I haven't got there yet. Hang on, we'll just here's Ertan bombing the scene. Hang on. Hello, Jeepers, you look like you're in hospital. Crikey, that was a shock, but you're not. Ertan's just popped up. Let me turn the volume up. Hang on. Okay, so
I just heard you doing it live, so I thought I'll give you a bell.
Yeah, hang on, I got to get you on the screen properly here. I got to go back to front. Okay, so you look very relaxed. Hang on, back to front here. You look very relaxed. What's happening?
Well, not much really. Since yesterday, the wind is much more friendly, so there's much less wind. But we are still going for plus 4.5 knots. So everything is wonderful, really. There is nothing to complain about. Hi, Jane. You look fabulous.
How come is Jane there? How are we doing that?
Because you pointed the camera on me.
Ah, there we go. I didn't realise. Okay, so this is Jane up the top here, but she's now ducked. Jane's not a camera person.
Yeah, she's behind the screen now. Only thing I can see is your hands.
Yeah.
Her knee.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, I'm not meant to be showing the boat. There's a bit of this stuff everywhere. We're in the middle of everything, and I'm meant to be out polishing the hull, but I've done about half of it. We should finish it today or tomorrow. Anyway, but that's good. So everything's well on board. Everything's working.
Yeah, everything is good. Really, zero problems. In fact, it's been a really good journey so far. Only one night when we had high winds, I only had the mast up for a few hours during the night, but the rest of the time it's been pretty good. Yes, it's been a bit wavy, but it's been all right.
Yeah, we saw your post, but there was 3 little video clips there, and we didn't share it because we're stealing your video clips and putting them together as one. It's easy to see. So Jane's actually working on that now. She's doing some video stuff now. So that's good. You're looking healthy.
Yeah, I'm really very well. I must say it has been so far. It's been a fantastic journey. Other than that one night where we had high winds and big waves. Other than it's been a nice journey, and today's been really, really nice as well. The wind comes and goes, but it's been steady. So no complaints. Nice and sunny. So the batteries are getting charged every day. So nothing to complain about, really.
Okay, how about...
I spoke to Mike yesterday, a long time. Popeye. He was having a pizza in Vava'u.
Yeah.
And we had a long talk yesterday. He looked really well, so he's looking forward to go to Tahiti next.
Yeah, that's cool. All right. Well, yeah, we haven't actually physically seen him for a long time, but they certainly seem to be having fun. That's the main thing. So, yeah, that's good. So, do you want to take the camera out and show us what's happening outside?
Of course, with pleasure.
Yeah, give us a look.
Yeah, of course, with pleasure.
We don't mind looking at you, but it's always good to get a feel for what's happening, seeing it's live.
Okay. Absolutely.
Wow, that looks fantastic, eh?
Yeah, it is paradise, really, I must say, outside.
Wow. Yeah. Japers.
And I've got the A5 up.
Yeah.
And he seems to be doing, 4 or 5 knots at the moment with that.
Yeah.
And
yeah, that's where I want to be. But anyway, one day I'll get out there again.
I mean, I must say, since I left, I have not touched the tiller yet. All the work has been enough with all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she's really, I mean, she's keeping a very straight course. That's partly because there hasn't been much gusts. It is normally sort of puts the wind vane out of shape. But when there are no gusts, I think you can adjust the sail so that she keeps a pretty straight course day and night, as long as there are no gusts.
Yeah, exactly.
Since we left Tahiti, there has always been wind for the wind vane, so it's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, what have you been doing for weather forecast? Where are you getting your weather forecast?
I'm not really so bothered with the weather forecast. Occasionally I look at the windy on your website, or I look at your site thing. I don't really look at the website because really and truly I'm going to keep my run line as best as possible. And I look at it if there is anything terrible going on. But if it's just, greens, I don't really pay much attention whether it's 16 or 20 knots, because that's where I'm going. And to be honest with you, as soon as, about an hour ago, the black clouds came, immediately the sails went down and I went into safe mode. Little rain came and passed, and then we're back to normal. So I think you can't just look at the weather report and say, oh, it's all good. It's just decisions are made much earlier than that.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of local stuff. Yeah, that's always the way.
Yeah, but I mean, if there was anything terrible going on, I would notice. But if it's mostly greens, then I know what I'm expecting. And, we haven't had any reds here. All we had was yellows.
Yeah, makes sense.
And I think most we had was around 40 knots. I think that was on the second night. So the weather has been okay, really. I must say I have no complaints so far.
Yeah, cool. Oh, well, that's good. Yeah, good to see. So I'm sure you'll enjoy Tonga. There's some great anchorages. Remember to go. I'd go north. Go north an hour and a half, and after you're sick of Pangai, and then have some fun.
Well, I spoke to Dan earlier on, and he asked me which island. I said, I'm going to the North Island, but I think everybody's going to the North Island.
Oh, boy.
I think Vava'u.
Okay, yeah. You're going to miss out on something special, but that's another story. It's a rocky...
Is that a bad idea?
It depends what you want to do. It's challenging getting up to the anchorage. So you'll be 5 miles under motor if the wind's wrong, or you'll be going to windward. But anyway, it's still okay. Like, I'm not saying Vava'u's not nice, but Pacific Paradise is all about Pangai. It's beautiful anchorages. It's typical Tonga is Pangai. It's not. You'll find Vava'u is nice, but I don't want to knock it. But it's completely different.
Civilization.
Yeah, okay. Jane says you like civilization, so it's where you're going to get but they've got a nice cafe and thing. Anyway, it's up to you. You decide. You decide.
Well,
but
I'm going to let others decide, and I'm hoping that they will give us the feedback when they get there, especially Reno and Dan and Pilar, and then we'll.
Okay. Well, my strong suggestion for the best experience is to go to Pangai. Believe me, it's cheese and chalk. You'll have whales everywhere. You've got beautiful tropical stuff. It's typical Tongan real culture, not sort of outpost. It's very nice. So I would strongly suggest Pangai is an amazing experience.
Is it easier to get in?
Absolutely. It's absolutely piece of cake. You'll sail all the way in, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful, So anyway, but it's up to you.
I shall read about it tonight. In a minute on the internet. I look at the charts, and then I'll decide where everybody else is going, and then decide nearer the time, I think.
Well, I can tell you because you're one of our mates. I tell you, we lived there for years and years and years. I would not go to Vava'u.
No, don't listen to that.
Interesting.
Yeah, anyway, it's a real Tongan experience. Is Pangai? It's fantastic. So anyway, but it's anchorages and stuff. When you get to Fiji, you're going to get your civilization hit. That's where you're going to get it, and you won't see you won't see anything like Pangai again. At all anywhere.
Well, Pangai is the capital city, right?
No, it's not. It's a town. you're going there to experience the Hapai group of islands, and beautiful anchorages, nice scenery, crystal clear water, coconut palms, sandy beaches, coral reef like you wouldn't believe, whales everywhere, and not many people. It's real Tongan, right? Whereas Vava'u is the tourist centre, full of Chinese, all the bits and pieces.
No, Pangai also Chinese. Go get us, John.
No, it's
By
a
the
different.
way, no whale.
It's a different feeling completely. But
Whale not arrived yet.
the whale season opens on June the 1st or something. So the early whales are there. But yeah, Ertan, you need to go to Pangai. Absolutely, we're having a great debate here.
Okay. I shall go and study that now.
Yeah, okay.
Now you tell me.
Yeah, sounds cool. All right, well that's good. So good to see everything's happening, and I wish I was there.
Well, you are almost. I mean, you are in Fiji, for God's sake. I mean, you are not in a bad place. You're in also another paradise.
Yeah, I know, but we're on the boat, on the hard, in a hole, and stuck on the computer, and I meant to be polishing the hull. We can't relaunch until we finish the polish. It's still got another 2 or 3 days, so hopefully we're in the water straight after the weekend.
Oh, okay. Well, there is not much to go then, so you'll be in the water next week.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so and then we'll see what happens. We've got to set up the island, a few things here yet, but that's cool. Everything's good here, no problems.
Oh, great. Well, anyway, take care. Good luck with the boat, and I'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Sounds great. See you later, Ertan. Yep, bye-bye.
This is Jane. Bye.
Yep, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, there you go. So, as you can imagine, it's good to have the choices, and everyone's got different reasons for going to different spots, but I just know Pangai, and it's a very nice Tongan experience for the islands. The Hapai group is fantastic. And Vava'u is a tourist centre, and Nucalofa is the capital city, and each of those is different as well. They're not, Vava'u's completely different than Tongatapu and Nucalofa. So let's wait and see what happens, but I hope they don't just all trundle along and follow Renaud. Anyway, we'll wait and see. I hope at least a few go to Pangai and they can report on what they experienced going there. All right. We were talking about the course. We're going a bit long now. So just briefly, I won't go at length. When they leave Fiji, they will go to Tanna, which is an island in Vanuatu, which is about 4 or 5 days sailing away. Stop there for 5 days. There's a very amazing experience, which I hope they all do, going up to the volcano there, which is one of the wonders of the world. That one, it's a big one, accessible, and all the rest of it. And then they have a choice. They're heading towards Australia after that, and there are 3 areas where they can stop. One is Thursday Island, the top of Cape York. The other is Darwin, and the other is Cocos Keeling. And for those 3 stopovers, they get a total of 12 days of stopovers, and they can decide where they spend those 12 days. But they have to stop at least 2. Okay. So it'll be up to them. So someone could go to Thursday Island, clear into Thursday Island, and stop for 3 days, and they've still got 9 days left, and then sail straight to Cocos Keeling and use the 9 days at Cocos. Or they could go 3 days at Thursday Island, 4 days at Darwin, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 5 days in Cocos Keeling, and do all 3. So it's up to them, but they must do 2. And if you're going to go to Cocos, which they want to all go to Cocos, you've got to clear in either in Darwin or Thursday Island. If you want to be the quickest, you would clear in Thursday Island, which is an outpost settlement type arrangement. It's a very famous place, not famous like Sydney Harbour Bridge or Opera House or things like that, but just it's an outpost that many people visit on the way through. So they could enter Australia in Thursday Island and then carry on to Cocos Keeling. If you wanted to go to Darwin to meet up with friends, anyone going there from Australia or from the rest of Australia, that's easy to get to Darwin. You could make a 9-day stop in Darwin and stay there for 9 days, and then head down and stop for 3 days in Cocos Keeling. So they'll be able to make their own decisions. And then after that, it's Mauritius, Durban, and then hop around the coast too. So there we go. Okay, so that's it. I'm going to go quickly through the questions here so I can get back to work. G'day, Christine. G'day, John. Remember to like, share, and all that sort of stuff. Subscribe. I am. My background is there. What's next for you? Oh, one step at a time. We've got to get this one out of the way first. But I have to say, I'm already thinking I need to do something. I need my own little adventure, and so there's a few things happening in the background, but it'll be a while before I get up to something. If you've got that noise in the background, it's a travel lift just going behind us at the moment, big diesel engine. So thanks, I am. We see it. Oh, cool. What was the reason for John and Popeye taking a detour getting into port? I'm not sure. It's quite interesting. Maybe they forgot that you can't enter there, and I know they saw the post that I was talking about, the tracker update, and I said, geez, you can't go there, guys. You've got to go to one of the others. Maybe they just wanted to sail past it and have a look and go around. No idea, but they're there. They're having fun cruising the islands. There was a bay there called Virgin Bay. Maybe that was an attraction for Popeye, of course. Jonathan, your content continues to amaze. Oh, thanks, Jonathan. So much to read, watch, and explore. Thanks again to you and the crew. Pleasure. It's all fun for us, and it's an inspiration. If this whole deal with all the entrants and everything that's happening with the MGR, what we're all hoping is that we inspire people to get out and do things. It's you've only got one life, and when you get to my age at 30, you look back on those last 30 years and think, jeepers, that was fun. Anyway. John, what was the reason for John and Papa? Oh, we've done that. Great interview with Adam. Good. Yeah, it was fun. He's looking healthy, eh? I feel Jasmine is missing something in knowledge, either her wind vane tuning. Adam is clearly on it all the time, not a turnkey machine. Yeah, Jasmine's got the hydrovane now. She started off with she always took the South Atlantic off. She fitted the hydrovane in Lagos, but had never sailed under a wind vane before. And in fact, it was really funny because what I did for her was explained it all, tried to get it going, and she couldn't quite absorb it. So I said, right, I'll set it up for a beam reach, right? So I adjusted the wind vane, the hydrovane, put the vane up so it'd be on the beam on the starboard. Was it starboard? No, on the port beam, because I knew what the weather was then. Anyway, we set it up on the weather that was outside, literally in the last hour before she left. And I said, don't touch it. And when you're out there, I'll tell you when to turn it on, right? Like engage it. She could see how to engage the flip-flop vane versus not. And that's exactly what happened. So when we got out there, she's going sailing, da-da-da-da. And I said, right, turn it on now. Because she knew once she turned it on, if it was slightly off course, she knew how to head it up into the wind a bit more or bear it down. And that's what she did. She took off. It's the first time she'd ever sailed on a wind vane like that. And we waved her goodbye, knowing full and well she was going to get hammered that night. It was a big sea, big swell. The forecast was there. And so she's had some amazing adventures. But she really does know what she's doing. Sometimes in the beginning she can't do it anymore. She's a rigid sailor now. But in the early days, she even though she had some sailing experience and background, it's different when you're by yourself and you've got to make all your decisions. So she had a lot of time at sea. And so she kept saying, oh, I'm not sure what I'm doing. That was in command and control, being a solo sailor, and she's done amazingly well. Really quite cool to watch. Can you show the thunderstorms? No, there was none there at the moment. Was there? Where was the volcano that blew up a few years ago? That's it's if you I could have shown you on the thingo, but basically, if you saw our post about our island Nucalofa, which got wiped away in the tsunami. There's about 35 kilometres from that island in a northwesterly direction. So it's actually northeasterly from Nucalofa, the capital on Tonga to Poo. So it's very close. But when the tsunami happened, basically what happened, this is unbelievable, the scientists worked it out, because the volcanic explosion happened, right? But that wasn't the tsunami. It was days later, many days later, and the seafloor actually dropped 2,000 feet. The whole seafloor, it was about 2 kilometres of the seafloor or something dropped a couple of thousand feet. It was massive. It blew the scientists away, and it was that sudden drop with all the water rushing in and the turbulence that created this whole tsunami. And the tsunami force went out in a I got to get the angles right here. Went out in a northeasterly direction, and our little island Namuka was the closest to all of it, and so it just got hammered. Fortunately, our island Namuka acted as a bit of a breakwater for Namuka, which is only a mile away. That's where the settlement was. There's about 300, 400 people, maybe 5, living on Namuka. And there's no one else lives on Namuka. and one lady died, and a lot of people injured, and a lot of the place was wiped out. But if Namuka Iki hadn't taken the brunt of the tsunami, it would have been a hell of a lot worse in Namuka. So there was some quite scary stories told there, and if anyone had been on the island in our place, they would have been dead, wouldn't survive. Lots of stories about that. But anyway, and that was just after we finished the Transat in 21. So it was a 21 Transat, so it was January of 22 that happened. Anyway, quite a story. G'day, Rachel. Christine, is there just one finish line in Pangai? There is just one gate in Pangai. It's a line, but they can also go to Nucalofa and they can also go to Tonga Tapu, and they will really miss something very special if they miss Pangai. Vava'u and Nucalofa are just not the same. Pangai is like the quintessential Tongan island experience, and it's not like any other place they've been to so far. It's a real outpost. Not many people live in Pangai, but everything is there. The summer residence of the king is there. Customs, immigration, quarantine is there, but it's in this little kiosk sort of thing, or a little business centre. They've got the fire brigade there. They've got a little hospital, but it's a cool place. And the anchorages, beautiful white sandy beaches as far as you can see, and fantastic coral, and it's just fantastic. So I'm strongly recommending they go to Pangai, but it's up to them what they want to do. Thanks for the great coverage. Want to revert to your previous update about dinghies on the foredeck. I did a double Atlantic crossing, with an 8-foot rigid dinghy on the foredeck of my own Nick 35. Yeah, same story. I mean, I'm not saying anything wrong with that, but believe me, sometimes it can go horribly wrong if you're in a big storm, and it's just probably part of our psyche that we come from a place where we live in the Southern Ocean. Sailors in South Australia, Victoria, all that sort of stuff. When you go out sailing, once you're out of the Gulf, you're in the serious stuff, and you've got to be ready for the ultimate storm. And I've always had a philosophy of whatever you do on a boat, you're ready for the ultimate storm wherever you are. And 8-foot rigid dinghy is not so bad. It's not too big. You can strap it down hard, all that stuff. Then it's a pain in the ass if you're working on the foredeck. You can still do it. So don't get me wrong. I'm not saying anything wrong with that, but it's just one of those things, That's why I was a bit freaking out when we sailed from Tahiti to here with the Bimini. It was sort of like, but I know how to get rid of the Bimini pretty quick. And it was a standing joke every day. Oh, the Bimini's still there. The weather must be okay, So it's just nothing wrong with doing that, but everyone sails under different situations. Even in my very first boat, I had an 8-foot inflatable dinghy, but I used to roll it up in a bag and strap it down really small on the deck, boom, boom, and just ready to act on things. So it's fine. A lot of people do that, but not for me. If I can help it, and you can't always help it, sometimes you've got to do it. Carry on. This included a 60 storm in the Biscay. Yeah, you can do it, but I think it's fair to say if it broke loose or whatever it is, or got in the way, like Corona, it's like there was some guys that sailed this is another example. Great guys, really respect them. Done quite a few sailing transits down to Antarctica from Australia, and some guys took off in a 40-foot bridge deck catamaran. So it's 2 hulls with a trampoline over the top, sort of thing, living in the hulls and stuff. And they were very sensible. They had a plan to sail the boat if they capsized. They were going to, if it was upside down, they'd drop the rig, put it back on the other way. It'd be slow, but they could do it. And you could sail to Antarctica in any sort of boat, even a 580, if the weather's good. I wouldn't recommend sailing down to Antarctica in the eastern Antarctica in a 580. You could do it, but there's always the risk that it wouldn't work, in extreme storms. So that's the theory where it comes from. But yes, nothing wrong with a 60-knot storm and a dinghy on the foredeck. A lot of people do it, but not for me. If I can avoid it, if I had to do it, I'd probably do it. so no problem. So sounds like the Bovascar has now changed to colours according to Ertan. Yes. On the hydrovane steered, really. The hydrovane steering all the way. Ertan is still on the link plates. He's got links connecting the hydrovane to the main tiller because his was installed really close to the rudder. It wouldn't work. If you fix the rudder and try to use the hydrovane, it'll stall. So we gave an exemption until Fiji. Then you've got to slip the boat here, and he's got to unbolt the hydrovane and move it further away from the main rudder, and then it will work, and then he won't be able to use the link plate. The link joining the two together. Can they tour all 3 islands in Tonga? They could, but they won't have much time because even, Renaud, I think, is thinking tactics. I'm not sure. He's planning to go into Nucalofa and then he'll head south and probably leave from the other. But there's not a lot of difference in the distance. But yes, they can enter in one port and depart from another port as long as it's the official departure ports. As the racing is a long progression and sometimes boring for those involved, what might add some interest is to complete the actual time of each competitor for each stage, is to compare the actual time. We got a lot to do at the moment, and we will be doing that. You can see the finishing times for the first leg. Okay, then there will be a finishing time for leg 2 from the start in Panama to the finish in Fiji. That's leg 2, and there will be a winner of leg 2, right? The same as there was a winner of leg 1, and then when they start, or even when they've all finished, we will show you the overall position of each of the entrants. Overall, that's a combination of leg 1 and 2. So Renaud won the first leg, and he might well win the second leg, so he'll be the benchmark. And then whoever, we just put the times together and you'll see the overall position. So that'll be listed, and it's only done once. And so now we've got a comparison for leg 2. And then on leg 3, when they get to Cape Town, that's the next time that we add up all their time at sea, okay, for leg 3. So that's how it works. Would not do the dinghy there again, by the way. It did get in the way at times. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, you do what you do. Even here now, I would, well, we've got no money, but I would love to have a big hydrofield dinghy. We decided we could go to the 3.2 metre, maybe even the next one up. Not hydrovane. Jeez, I've got hydrovane. High field rigid aluminium dinghy with a 15 horsepower outboard on the back, because when we are cruising, your dinghy extends what you can do. When you drop the anchor, you take off with a 15 horsepower planning boat, and you can go everywhere, fishing, diving, exploring, whatever. You really get out and about. We've currently got a 3 metre, I think it is. We haven't even blown it up yet. Unit with a 3 horsepower outboard. Typical cruising boat to go ashore and have a cup of tea or coffee with someone else and da-da-da. But you can't extend your cruising range. But at least you deflate it. There's a little bag, fits through the bag, it weighs nothing. A little outboard, stick it on the back. And we've got the hydrovane. So it's a balance on everything. We can carry a big boat in the davits, a high field, but then we'd have to pull the top of the hydrovane off and not use it, which is fine. We've got an autopilot for local cruising. We could do that. And then when we do ocean passages, we would have to put the hydrovane, high field, on the foredeck, which just fits upside down, but then you've got a boat on the foredeck, which I hate. So life is a compromise, and you do what you think is the best. But anyway. All right, I think we're done. Yep, we're done. So thanks very much, everybody. There's a lot going on there, and we will I'll see if I can get out and looking smart, but it's all showing black, so I don't think it's going to work. See you later. See you tomorrow, hopefully. See you later. It's not starting. We got the picture, but I don't know why it's not starting, so we're out of here. Thanks a lot. See you later.